Good morning, everybody. I know it's not morning for you. In fact, it's 10:41 p.m. as I'm recording this, but it's morning for me. I woke up 40 minutes ago, so what better time to make a video than at 10 at night? If you're also wondering why I missed my video yesterday, why I missed that upload, that's why. I slept till like 1 in the morning, and I woke up and I was like, I think everyone's asleep that's subscribed to me, so I'll wait till tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, today's story, it's a good one. No time to waste. Let's just jump into it. So today's story time takes place back when I was 18 years old, okay? So when I was 18, life was good, freshly an adult. I could be more independent. I could get my own apartment if I wanted to, get my own place, which I did. That's when I moved to LA. And around this time, life was just really good, right? Now, like I said earlier, I was living in LA, so I was out there at this time. This was about 3 months after I moved out there, and everything was going great, Everything was going a little too great. As you guys know, when things are going too good for me, something comes along and it's like, okay, here's a story time, motherfucker. And that's what happened. So one day in LA, I'm sitting there in my apartment. I'm on my computer, just finished making a video, and I'm scrolling my Instagram feed, right? After I was done making my video. And I keep seeing my friends' stories and my friends' posts and stuff from my hometown. And it was making me feel a little bit homesick, right? It was making me feel a little shitty. I missed my friends. I missed my family. I missed my city that I grew up in. I was really, really sad. I can't lie. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let me jump online. I'm going to book a surprise flight home, surprise my mom, my dad, my family, and my friends. I'm feeling pretty homesick. Let me go back to where I grew up and see my buddies, right? So I booked a flight. The flight was for the next morning. Next morning rolls around, got my stuff ready, packed up really quick, jumped on the plane, and flew on back to my hometown. Now, upon arriving, I surprised my mom, my dad. They were obviously very excited, very happy. After that, the next person I wanted to surprise was my good friend Tyler. I just went to his house. I just took an Uber there, showed up to his front door, knocked on the door. He answered. He was like, "What the fuck? What are you doing home?" And he hugged me, and we were super, super just stoked to see each other. And while we're talking, I asked him what I missed. I was like, I've been gone for a little bit now, so what's been up, man? What's new with you? Because we kept in touch, obviously, when I was in LA, but obviously he didn't tell me every little detail in his life when I was in LA, so I wanted to know what else was going on. And he's like, well, I actually just started dating somebody 3 days ago. We had been seeing each other for about a month, but a few days ago we made it official. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? That's awesome. Hell yeah, man. How'd you guys meet? He's like, we met on Tinder. And I was like, oh, dude, that's sick. Congrats, man. Happy for you. He's like, yeah, man, you gotta meet her. I'm like, bro, anytime you guys want to hang out, hit me up. I'm home for a week. He's like, bet, dude. So I ended up hanging out with Tyler for an hour or two at his house. He had actually just moved into a brand new house, with a couple of his friends that I also knew. So that was cool. I got to hang out there with them for a little bit. Then after that, I went home back to my mom's house and I hung out there for the rest of the night. And fast forward about 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days later, I wake up to a text message from none other than Tyler. And he says, yo, what are you doing today? I was like, nothing, bro. What about you? He's like, I'm actually going to hang out with my girl. I wanted to know if you wanted to join us. And I was like, sure, what are you guys up to? What are you going to do? And he's like, we're actually going to go and explore this building I found. Now, Tyler was one of those abandoned building, urbex exploration, kind of adrenaline junkie type dudes. He going to these abandoned buildings and climbing up to the roof and getting photos of him standing on the edge. He was definitely one of those types, right? Now, at this point, I'm an adult, right? I'm 18. I was kind of over this shit. Not over it completely, because I still did it once in a while, but compared to when I was 17, 16 years old, definitely less, right? Definitely a lot less of me doing that kind of stuff. So I kind of was hesitant at first, and also the idea of going to an abandoned building and third wheeling didn't sound very fun. But my homie wanted me to meet his girl, and of course, I'm going to meet my homie's girlfriend, right? He was happy about dating her. Of course, I want to be there and meet her. I could tell by how stoked he was about being in this relationship. He was super into this girl and super into this relationship, and it seemed it was someone he was going to get serious with. So, of course, I wanted to meet her. So I said sure, and he picked me up 30 minutes later and drove over to his girlfriend's house, picked her up. She got in the car. I said hello to her, introduced myself. She said hi, introduced herself. And we just started talking, making small talk, right? And we're driving to this building. Now, this building that we're driving to was about an hour and a half away from my hometown. So we were in the car for a while, just on the expressway, just talking about life, talking about each other, just making conversation, right? Nothing crazy. And honestly, for most of the drive, it was awesome. It was actually a really cool group of people that we had, me, him, and his girl. And I didn't feel like I was third wheeling at all. That was my initial worry. I thought I was going to feel like a third wheel and I was just going to be like sitting there kind of watching them do their couple thing, and I didn't really want to do that. But the whole car ride, it didn't feel like that at all. Until we arrived to the building. This is when things get a little bit interesting. So this building that we arrived to, right? This abandoned building, it used to be like two things, right? One side of the building was like factory and production. Not really sure of what. We tried to like look around and see if it was like a certain product that we might know. It was pretty empty in there. We just saw machines, so assumed it was some sort of factory. Then the other side of the building, it was like divided. There was like an office, like a bunch of offices, like cubicles and different little rooms and boardrooms and stuff. So I was like, okay, office on one side, factory on the other, right? So we get there, and the first side we explored was the factory. And we're going through there, and I start to feel a little bit like a third wheel because him, Tyler, and his girlfriend, they start like kissing and stuff a lot. It's not just like, oh, like a peck here and there. It's like they start like really kissing, and I'm like, okay, like really in front of me right now, like, is what we're gonna do. I don't mind if my friends kiss their significant others in front of me, right? That's not what I'm trying to say here. It's just they were like really kind of going at it at one point, and I was like, okay, a little much. But anyway, we keep exploring after that. And then like 10 minutes later, after we're done like kind of checking out the factory side, we go over to the offices, right? And like I said, there's like cubicles and like little boardrooms and stuff and separate offices. And the minute we get into the office portion of the building, Tyler grabs his girlfriend's hand and leads her into like one of the conference rooms, like boardrooms. I don't know what it was, like some room with a giant table in it, right? And yeah, they start going in there, and I follow, right? Because we were going as a group everywhere. We were exploring together. And he stops me, like puts his hand up. He's like, whoa, just give me like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, do your thing. And they close the door. So now they're in this little office room behind that closed door doing who knows what, right? I'm sure you all could guess. I don't know. I didn't care. Honestly, I was actually kind of glad they went in there because I was like, at least I don't have to see it now. Like if they're making out in there or something, at least I don't have to see it. So I keep exploring, right, by myself. And, I'm just exploring this office side of the building. Very big office, by the way, like multiple floors and rooms. And I'm just exploring by myself now. And I can't lie. I start to get creeped out because I start to hear shit. Yeah, so after I split off from Tyler and his girl, I walked down the stairs, like the bottom floor of this office, and I started hearing noises on the bottom floor. Like it literally sounds like somebody's walking around like near me. It sounds like footsteps are happening like just on the other side of the room. Now here's the worst part. I don't have a flashlight. Tyler did, and he took it in the room with him. So I'm alone in the dark. Only light I have is my phone screen, which I'm using. But that only shows about, 2 to 3 feet in front of me, barely. And yeah, I could use the flashlight, which helped a little bit. But I had low battery on my phone, so I don't want to waste it. And also, that only gave me another foot or two. I still couldn't see that far ahead of me. I only saw a little bit, right? So I'm like, kind of creeped out. I hear footsteps, and they sound like they're on the same floor as me. So naturally, I turn around and I start walking back upstairs, right? I'm like, fuck that. Like, that could be somebody. It could not be somebody. I'm not chancing it. Like, that could very well be a person, and I don't want to take the chance of getting robbed or, like, beaten up or something. So, yeah, I turn around and I quickly go back upstairs. And when I'm upstairs, I kind of just, like, stand there in the stairwell for a little bit. I'm just, like, kind of standing there on the top of the stairs, kind of just, like, listening to see if I can hear anything. And, like, 2 minutes later, I hear footsteps come into the stairwell, and I hear someone yell, "Is somebody up there?" And now I'm like shitting my pants, right? I'm like, okay, there's actually a person in here. I thought maybe it was like a raccoon or something or an animal, right, downstairs. Because, initially I just heard footsteps, but now it's like, okay, that is a person. That is a real person. And I didn't know what to do, right? On one hand, I was tempted to be like, yeah, I'm up here, and like let them know that, I'm here exploring and checking out the building because, like, maybe it's someone like me down there. Maybe it's a fellow explorer, and like maybe he was scared because he was hearing noises. So I thought, maybe it's someone like me who's just also afraid of hearing someone on the same floor as him. But on the other hand, I was tempted to be like, nah, stay quiet. Don't say shit. Don't make your presence known. Because, like, what if it's a security guard and they think I'm vandalizing the building or something, and then they call the cops and I get arrested? Like, I start really, like, getting in my head about this. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm just so hesitant and, like, so, like, split on what to do that I pretty much end up doing the second option without even knowing I'm doing it. I stay quiet because I'm just spending all that time thinking, right? And before I know it, this guy downstairs, he yells up again. And he goes, all right, I'm calling the police since you don't want to answer. So he knew I was up there and he knew I wasn't answering. I don't know if he saw me. I don't know if he could hear me like breathing. I don't know, right? But naturally, I freak out. So I turn around and I run. I run all the way down through the offices to the door that Tyler and his girlfriend were at, like the room they were in. And I start pounding on it. I'm like, yo, Tyler, we gotta go. We gotta go. And he yells back and he's like, yo, just give me a sec. Just give me a sec. I'm like, yo, you don't have a sec, man. Somebody's like in the building and they're calling the cops. And he yells back. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, we gotta go. And he swings the door open and he's putting his pants on. He's got no pants on. And I'm like, dude, come on. He's like, what? What the fuck? I was like, what do you mean, bro? Like, come on, put your fucking pants on. He's like, I didn't think we'd have to leave. And I was like, bro, it's not the time for that. Come on. Now, luckily, his girl, her clothes were on. So, that was good. She was good to go. After he gets his pants on, we proceed to run out that room. And as soon as we're out of that room and like in the main area of the offices, I look to my left and I see a guy turn the corner of the stairwell onto the second floor that we were on, and he flicks his flashlight on. And I can clearly see now, because he's holding the flashlight and like he's kind of lighting up himself, it's a man wearing a security windbreaker, like a jacket. And I was like, oh shit. And he goes, hey, you guys stop right there. Stay still. And we stop, right? And I look over at Tyler and Tyler looks at me and his girlfriend looks at me and Tyler mouths the word run. And he proceeds to turn and start booking it towards the other exit. So there was two stairwells, one on one end, one on the other. One of the stairwells goes down to the factory area. The other one went down to the other like office area. So we run towards the one that goes to the factory. And we run over to that stairwell, and I hear him behind me, the security guard. He's like, stop running, stop running. And he's chasing us, right? He's trying his best to catch up to us. But luckily, there was a bunch of like cubicles and tables and shit in the way and like desks. So like he couldn't really get to us fast enough before we were at the stairwell because, he was on one corner, we were on the other. So we had to like run around all this shit. So we ran down the stairwell with a pretty good lead on him, right? Like we were definitely like pretty far ahead of him. We get down the stairs. We run into the factory area. And like I said earlier, Tyler has the flashlight and I don't. So I can't really see where I'm going very well. I'm just trying to like follow like what I can see. And I end up smashing my shins into like a conveyor belt and flying over it. Like basically like front flipping over a conveyor belt and slamming onto my back. And it hurt so fucking bad. Like it felt like I actually like fractured something. But I couldn't just lay there because if I laid there, security was going to run up to me and be like, oh, I got you. And I'm not trying to get arrested and go to the hospital. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I get up and I start limping as fast as I can with Tyler and his girlfriend, which kind of slowed us down a little bit. I can't lie. I felt bad. I was slowing down the group. But at the same time, my shins and my legs hurt so fucking bad. It hurt so bad. Like, you guys know what I mean, right? Like when you hit your shin on something hard, the pain that like pulsates through your body, like, oh fuck, it hurts so bad. And the fact that I hit both of them running full speed, it was so painful. Like, cause it lasts. Like after you hit your shins, like on anything, like it like, it sticks around for a little bit before it goes away. So like, oh, it hurt bad. Anyway, I'm limping, like limp running. And this guy is kind of catching up to us, the security guard. And Tyler turns around. He's like, bro, you got to run faster. You got to run faster. I'm like, bro, I'm fucking trying. And this guy yells out. He's like, stop running. And he sounded close. I didn't want to turn around and look, but he sounded like he was right behind me. So I'm like, all right, fuck, I need to like run. So I like just mentally blocked out the pain as best as I could. And I just locked in and I start sprinting as fast as I possibly can. So fast that I ended up going past Tyler and his girlfriend and the light that we had. And I ended up just running towards a window, like at the end of the building. It wasn't even the window that we got in through. It was some other one, but I saw it and it looked open and it looked like I could jump through it. So I ran and just without thinking, I just jumped. And guess what? I hit my fucking shin again. Luckily this time it wasn't both of them, but it was my left one and it still hurt. So like hitting it again just made it even more excruciating. And I didn't do like a front flip or anything this time. I just like smacked it and then like kind of caught myself on the window. Like I grabbed onto the ledge that I was on and I just jumped out. Now after that, Tyler and his girl follow and there's streetlights in the parking lot. So we don't need like the flashlights anymore. So like he flicked his light off and we ran as fast as we could to our car. We jumped in, Tyler turns on the car, and we peel out of there as fast as we possibly can, leaving the security guard in the parking lot, throwing his arms up, yelling at us, like clearly pissed off that he didn't catch us, right? I don't blame him. I'd be pissed too if I was that security guard. And obviously, guys, what we did was wrong. We shouldn't have been in this building to begin with, but given the fact he caught us, I feel like we should have tried to talk to the guy first, because he might have let us off with a warning. There's been times where I've been caught by security in buildings like this, and the security's like, hey, don't come back, and they let you go. Not saying you should go and push your luck. Don't do that. Don't go in a building that's abandoned, period. These shits are dangerous. Like, if you guys haven't heard my stories by now, I have a lot of them about this shit, and they're not a fun place to be. It's not a playground, you know what I mean? Like, shit happens in these buildings that's not safe. I've been chased by homeless people. I've almost stepped on needles. I've fucking almost gotten tetanus, chased by police, security, gotten handcuffed, and, had to talk to police. Like, a lot of shit's happened, right? Not a place to be hanging out, okay? Stay away from the abandoned buildings. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The story's not completely over yet. So we peel out of that parking lot, right? We get out of there, and we're driving down the main road, right? We take a left, we leave the parking lot, we're driving down this main road, and as soon as we, get off this main road and we go to turn onto the expressway, we see, 3 cop cars, all with their sirens on, going full speed right past us. They go right past us down that road we just came from towards the building while we're getting on the expressway and leaving. And I remember, we get on the expressway, and Tyler turns around and he goes, dude, that was way too fucking close. And I was like, yeah, I know. And his girl asked me, she's like, are you okay? You took a pretty bad fall. I was like, I think I'm fine. And I pulled up my pant leg to look at my shin, my left one. Dude, it was all red and scraped up. And you could tell it was going to leave a gnarly bruise. And it did. It left a pretty bad bruise the next day that lasted quite a while. Same with the other one, the other shin. Left one got it worse though, because I hit it twice in the same spot. But anyway, while we're on the way home, back to our hometown, back to Tyler's house, we're kind of quietly just driving and not really saying much because it was pretty awkward, just given what just happened and also what Tyler and his girl were probably doing before what happened. And I didn't know who was going to break the silence first. And finally Tyler did. And he's like, yo, I just want to come out and say it. My bad about back there at the building. We shouldn't have been doing that. And I was like, it's fine. But yeah, maybe next time, wait till you guys get home to start whatever you were doing. And his girl chimes in. She's like, I just want to go on record and say that I knew that was going to be a bad idea. I literally told Tyler, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't be doing this. And, he said that this building was abandoned and no one ever was in there. So I thought we'd be fine. But yeah, I'm sorry. And I was like, you're good. You guys are both fine. It's fine. At least it makes for a story video, I guess. And Tyler goes, that's true. A damn good one. And I was like, yeah, true. And he wasn't wrong. This is one of my favorite stories. It's not the longest story. I know you guys like the longer ones, but I don't know. It's not every day, especially when it comes to these abandoned building stories, where I could tell one that's like this. And yeah, that being said, we ended up going home. Spent the rest of that night just kind of chilling. I ended up actually checking the police scanner, Twitter thing. My city that I grew up in has this Twitter, this account that live tweets. I think it's a bot. It live tweets what the police scanner is saying. And I was looking for tweets about, that area that we were in, but I didn't see anything. I think the reason I didn't see anything is because the area that we were in might have just been in a different county. So that Twitter that I was on didn't really account for that area. I don't know. But either way, I think the cops were definitely speeding towards that building because that was the only thing in that direction. So it just makes the most sense. But yeah, we never got caught. And after that, I took a very long hiatus from any kind of urban exploration because I just did not want to get in trouble. That shit scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, after that, I just went back to LA, a little less than a week later. And I kind of just behaved myself. Didn't do anything too crazy because I felt like I got pretty lucky. And I did. And that leads me to the moral to this story. Do not do what I talked about in this story. I just said it earlier, but yeah, don't do that. Don't go exploring abandoned buildings. They're dangerous. Stay out of trouble. Don't be running from security and cops and stuff. Stay out of the buildings. Stay out of there. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story time. Pretty crazy one in my opinion. Hope you enjoyed it. If you guys did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all later. Peace.